I was grateful when I found out the order for today that I got to go before Dr. Felber and didn't have to follow her, but now my biggest goal is not crying because I get to. Just over a year ago, we were told we'd learn to be nurses. And along the way, we had better practice self-care. In these past few days, I've been reflecting on how that went. Did I eat enough kale? Am I still perfect in the eyes of my dog with his new bladder of steel? It's true that caring for yourself is an act of survival. It's also a process that takes time spent with oneself, rendering it difficult to master and almost impossible to teach. It can be coaxed forth, but it cannot be prescriptive. People so often assume that they find something restorative because the activity is inherently and objectively good for you. But this year I found that just doesn't hold. When it comes to personal restoration, there is no universal antidote. Some of us rush towards solitude and our moments of freedom. Some of us roast a chicken and throw a party. Some of us zoom in on a patch of land to cultivate, and others gravitate towards the sea to put things into perspective. Some of us create havens, surrounding ourselves with colors and textiles and scents, and some are guided by an endless sense of adventure. But more, I think it is a myth that the things that restore us have to be wholesome and pure. Self-care can be indulgent and even common. The gestures do not have to be grand. Pokemon Go might interest me as much as a visit to the dentist, and you feel the same way about my love of rewatching 90s movies with a strong female lead. Self-care has no common denominator, except the prerequisite to know oneself and give it what it wants. I trust each of us are well on the path to knowing ourselves, but for inspiration, I turn to the women who raised us this year. Sana, I laughed as I read your message. I literally just completed my daily 5-mile brisk walk, and I'm eating my post-exercise frozen blueberries, sprinkled with a few dark chocolate chips. My husband and I picked over 40 pounds of blueberries this year at a local farm and froze them so we can eat them all year. Our cat is purring in my lap and trying to lie on my keyboard. I try to be truly present in each moment and live with the spirit of gratitude and appreciation, even in challenging times. And when the times are very challenging, I intentionally practice calmness in the midst of chaos. That was Dr. Linda Felber. Pat O'Connor told me she knows her two most important strategies are great, supportive friends, and most importantly, always tending to exploring, testing, knowing, and embracing her center. And lastly, I would encourage you all not to be afraid to find that area of nursing that feels rewarding to you, and not be afraid to make changes until you find it. Another lesson that has been very important for me in caring for my patients and taking care of myself is that it's not all about me needing to be perfect. Have the humility to know your limits, and the courage to advocate for your patient, yourself, and your coworkers. That was Holly Cooper. So it was late one night driving home from a shift on 1 Northwest, which is the inpatient psych ward here at OHSU, and I started to think more about self-care in terms of physics. It lends itself to the field of nursing, a field where we bear witness, hold space, bend and flex so that others can heal and thrive. If the energy of an isolated system remains constant, and energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but morphs from one form to another, then as nurses we must learn to be quite literally transformers. We must succumb to the fact that self-care just can't be passive. There is no box strong enough to compartmentalize for the duration of a career. And while there is ice cream good enough to selectively numb emotion, it won't always be within reach. In this profession, we bear witness to grief that defies textbooks, that takes shapes and forms constantly shifting and surprising us with their singular, specific pain. Sometimes it is death, often it is worse. Often it catches you by surprise and takes your breath away at a moment you relied on composure. This happened to me recently when I watched a patient eat a birthday cake, delivered by an automatically generated policy via the cafeteria, alone in their room in the dark. This energy I'm talking about that we seldom name is the energy of witnessing and absorbing another human in distress. And yet, I don't worry about us. Each of us sits here today because we possess a unique reverence for these moments of vulnerability. Regardless of our hometowns or what we come home to each night, we came to this profession because we saw in ourselves a powerful skill to create space as it is needed. For those who are suffering or rejoicing, those living out the most human of moments. Those who have lived 100 minutes to 100 years, the wealthy, the homeless, the wholehearted, and even the cantankerous. We are expert manipulators of energy. We give of ourselves in a profession that inhabits a realm of parallels, that confirms grief and illuminates beauty. We witness moments of humanness each day that outnumber what some will see in a lifetime. And we appreciate, as Brene Brown says, that the dark does not destroy the light, it defines it. So, write your stories down. Never stop going to the Northeast Zumba class. Mobilize your tribe and go somewhere to celebrate life, often. Decide how to spend your time. Those of you who saw Kathleen King bust out Beyonce moves in her green scrub this weekend on Instagram know that she knows what I'm talking about. Let us model that it is only through caring for ourselves and each other that we are able to care for others. Joan Didion calls this self-respect, that sense of one's intrinsic worth which constitutes self-respect, she says, is potentially to have everything. The ability to discriminate, to love, and to remain indifferent. When you are tired to the bone, stop taking yourself so seriously and ask for help. Manage your time and energy so that you can listen to someone's story because you truly want to. Surround yourself with people who bring you to root deeply in a sense of self. Take a daily inventory of this love. Look around you right now, and when you hear these people say the words, thank you, or I love you, or my girlfriend's favorite, have fun saving lives today, let time stop and for a brief moment, hold them and believe in them and let them penetrate you to the bone. Do this also with small moments of pleasure. Arrange your day around them. Pick yourself flowers and throw yourself parties, whatever that looks like. And in days when you are too exhausted to move, take a nap and praise yourself for saying no to the requests and invitations we decline to make that happen. Whether you climb mountains or grow tomatoes or curl up with a soft, sweet animal, do it luxuriously and unabashedly. Tell yourself it's okay to be madly in love with the world, though it remains imperfect. As Stephen Wallace says, the imperfect is our paradise. To close, I want to thank each of you for a beautiful year and leave you with the ending lines of a Mary Oliver poem. I hope they brighten you wherever you're heading. The stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice, which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save.